Hello, Master Numerologist Andre Moore, and today's lesson is on brainwaves. Science tells us that humans cycle through 4 different types of brainwaves called beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Brain waves can vibrate between 14 and 30 hertz. 1 hertz indicates a single cycle of vibration per second. A kilohertz is 1,000 cycles per second, and a megahertz is 1,000,000 cycles per second. So, 14 cycles is going to equal 14 hertz, okay? And 30 seconds is going to equal 30 hertz. Now, when we are awake, our brain waves move at a faster pace. We call this state beta. Beta waves are high frequency, low amplitude brain waves that commonly observed in an awakened state. They are involved in conscious thought and logical thinking and tend to have a stimulating effect. Having the right amount of beta waves allows us to focus. The prominence of this wave causes us anxiety, high arousal, and an inability to relax and stress, whereas its suppression can lead to ADHD, daydreaming, depression, and poor cognition. In optimal conditions, beta waves help with conscious focus, memory, and problem solving. These waves can be divided into 3 specific classifications. Okay. The low beta wave vibrates between 12 and 15 hertz, and this is known as beta 1. And these waves are associated mostly with quiet, focused, introverted concentration. So remember, 12 to 15 hertz equals 12 to 15 seconds. That's how fast they move. Now the mid-range beta waves move between 15 and 20 hertz, so a little bit faster. And this is known as beta 2. And these waves are associated with increase in energy, anxiety, and performance. And then the high beta waves, between 18 and 40 hertz, that means they move much faster. And these brain waves are associated with significant stress, anxiety, paranoia, high energy, and high arousal. Now, that's beta. Now, let's move into the second one, called alpha. Alpha brain waves vibrates between 9 and 13 hertz, a tad bit slower than beta. In this state, a person is calm and relaxed. When you wake up in the morning, it's good to just lay there for a minute or two, enjoying this restful state before you start your daily routine. Use these moments to pray or visualize how you would like your day to go. Do a light meditation, getting in touch with your body. Try not to tense or rush into your daily activities. Take time and slow it down. Try to remember the Lord's name by repeating one of God's many names. That's the second wave. Okay, alpha. So alpha moves at a slower rate than beta. Let's move into the theta brain waves, which vibrates between 4 and 8 hertz. In this state, you are drifting into sleep, becoming deeply relaxed, floating into meditation. In this state, a person can listen to self-help tools, which are visual or audio. On this level of relaxation, you are more open to receiving positive and uplifting instructions. Your ego will move aside and allow you to accept more of your divine nature. One can drift into a light trance. Your mind can lift your consciousness from body awareness to the higher realms of consciousness. On this level, it is not so much a level of thinking, but becoming aware of your Christ-like self. The fourth wave, Delta. In Delta, brain waves move at a much slower pace between 1 and 3 hertz. This state, you're in deep trance, meditation, and dreamless sleep. On this level, thought forms decreases. Other aspects of consciousness, both internal and external, become apparent. One might make contact with the spirit world, contacting other spirits. You may see astral colors that are much more intense than colors that you see in ordinary awakeness. One may encounter great yogis, masters, or even tap into the angelic realm. You may behold visions or receive solutions or answers that you have been acquiring. Okay. Brain waves contain 10 letters. It vibrates on the first level because 10 reduces down to number 1, which is the first level. So one must work to attain knowledge about yourself. Learning to move into these different brain waves consciously will aid you on your journey to self-discovery. So you can intentionally move from beta into theta relatively easy. It's much harder to move into the fourth level, which is delta, but it can be done, but it's going to require a person that has done a lot of self-exploration on their bodies, on their spiritual path, to tap into the delta ray. But it can be done. But definitely the first 3 levels is really under your conscious control, and you can slip into those 3 levels consciously with intent. Okay? So now letter B vibrates on the second level, which means the group. And so the brain waves flow from one wave to another based on how you are using your will. You can purposely will yourself to relax or jump into action. You can learn to move into theta or delta by practicing the art of meditation. So these brain waves are under your control. It's under your will, your intent. What is it that you want to do? And life will follow. Okay? But it depends on how strong your intention is, or how willing you are to accomplish whatever your objective is. It's really based on your passion, your desire, and if you're willing to do the work that's needed to bring about the solutions. So now letter R vibrates on the 9th letter, and number 9 symbolizes endings. So by understanding brain waves, one can learn how to control them through applying willpower. Willpower can start the process where one can begin to end the darkness that keeps one from seeing the light of their being. So the theta brain waves and the delta brain waves can bring an end to this illusion called Maya, because you will be able to know more and to see more. For example, like there are colors in the astral plane that are so much more intense than the colors in the physical plane. And colors in the physical plane can be pretty intense. A color in the astral plane is so intense that it's like a razor blade being like sliced over your eye. I mean, it's just so intense that it's almost painful. So that's why I say you have to be prepared to be able to deal with these higher vibrations, and that's why you really can't rush into it. But the colors are like the colors that you see on the physical plane is dull compared to the colors that's in the astral plane. There is no comparison. As a matter of fact, these colors that you see on the physical plane is actually a reflection of the colors that you see, in the astral plane, because the astral plane deals primarily, with a lighter vibration. It's not as condensed as the physical reality. But these brain waves fall under your control. That's the point I'm making. But you got to be willing to work at it. And one way of getting on top of these brain waves is through the art of meditation. Okay. So let's continue. Letter A vibrates on the first level. And so another can assist you on your journey to enlightenment, but it's left up to you to do the work. Self-realization is a concept that each must find their way home. You are an eternal being, but you must come into this understanding and break the chains to keep you on the wheel. So once again, it's like you can ask your question, well, how did I incarnate? Why did I incarnate? How did I get caught up into this whole cycle of being born, dying, rebirthing in heaven, and then having to start the cycle all over again? Okay? But it was your choice to come into this reality, and therefore it's your choice to leave this consciousness and this reality. It's left up to you. That's what the one is representing. You. Okay? So now letter I vibrates on the ninth level, and this level symbolizes the concept that we are one, but are expressing ourselves, as the many, a universal truth. We express ourselves on an individual level, but bear in mind that each part stays connected to the whole. So even though you have individuality, you are not disconnected from the universal principle, which is the Lord or God or whatever name you feel more comfortable with. You are always connected, but you have your own individual understanding of truth. Every master is one, but each master displays their oneness uniquely. For example, if you was fortunate to have 3 yogis manifest before your eyes, let's say the Lord Jesus, Lord Buddha, and Lord Krishna, you would know instinctively that these are great exalted beings by their vibration, by their ray, by their love. But each one, you will be able to differentiate each one because each one has their own particular style, their own particular understanding of truth, their own way of expressing that truth. So even though you have individuality, you are still connected to the one. But the one has given everyone free will to express how they see it. Okay? But we all are one, but we all are expressing individually, but connected always to the one. So there's never a disconnect. Okay, so let's move on to letter N, W, and E. Those 3 letters vibrates on the 5th level, and is learning to move freely from one brainwave vibration into another will allow one a true sense of freedom. So what can you move away from? What can you free yourself of? Well, you can free yourself from anger, aggregation, or any vibration that disturbs, one's inner space. That is the true meaning to be in the world, but not another world. Meaning your peace is freedom. So no matter what's going on around you or before you, if you can maintain your equilibrium, if you can maintain your peace, if you can maintain your balance, then you are truly free. It's only when you get caught up in the aggregation, you get caught up in the anger and the frustration and everything that disturbs our inner space emotionally is when your world becomes upside down and you get all, tangled up. Okay? So you have to learn to try to maintain a sense of peace, to be in the world but not of the world, to become the impersonal self as opposed to the personal self. We have a tendency to become very personal, and when we become personal, sometimes our behavior brings about harm to other individuals. Okay? Now, the word brainwaves contain three letters that vibrates on the first level. So there's three letters that vibrates to the number one. I've already talked about the first letter that vibrates to one was A. But the seventh sub-element and the 10th sub-element, these are the letters, another A and an S. Now, these two additional numbers create an intensity point. Number one pretty much is telling you that your liberation depends on your action. How do you think, act, and react are under your control. What efforts are you making to free yourself from this cosmic illusion called Maya? Are you waiting around for a savior to do the work for you, or are you willing to help your person? So once again, the number one, you have to take responsibility for your liberation. Now, others can come to assist you and to aid you, but you have to do the work. You have to do the heavy lifting. Now, sometimes the master will come and absorb some of your karma so that your cross become a little bit, lighter. But everyone's going to have to pay the piper. Everyone has to repossess soul. So try to sow good thoughts, good actions, good deeds, and then you're going to have a good harvest. So masters are always here. Yogis are always here. But the saying says, it says, the fruit is plentiful, but the labors are few. You are an abundant being, but you got to work at, understanding your treasure. You're the kingdom, but you have to work at extracting your gold, extracting your diamonds, extracting your cities. That's left up to you. A master can instruct, a master can give you discipline. If a master says, do this for so many repetitions, so for so long of a period of time, and you don't do the work, but you expect to get the reward. It don't work that way. So they do come to aid you, to help you, to assist you, but the bottom line is that you have to do the work. Okay? Now, letter V is a master letter and vibrates to the master number 22, the worker. Once again, you got to work at creating a higher level of spirituality. You got spiritual laws and you got material laws, right? We all know how the physical law works, right? If you want to become stronger, you lift weights. If you want to become a marathon runner, you run a little bit further each and every day, and then the body will make the adjustments, and you find yourself being able to compete in marathons. Okay, those are physical laws. Those physical laws bring about results. Well, there's also spiritual laws, and if you follow the spiritual laws, you're going to also get spiritual results. So the 22 is a worker. You got to work at it. Whatever it is you want to achieve in life, you got to work. Even if you're born as a protege, like Elton John and Alicia Keys, they're proteges, but they still do the work. They still get up and practice their notes. They practice their vocal cords. They still have to do the work. So the 22, is a worker. So you have to work to raise your consciousness. One must work towards that end. There are spiritual laws that one must apply. Remembering the Lord at all times or repeating one of the Lord's many names will aid you in your spiritual development. So that's work. Being able to just remember the Lord all the time. That takes will. That takes effort. But if you do that, then that keeps your vibration at a higher level. Something else you can do, find time to meditate. That will calm your mind and allowing windows of intuition to flow. Practicing visualization will spiritualize your good intentions, bringing them quicker into manifestation. So the number pattern for brain waves is 291955122251. And when these 10 sub-elements are added, you get the compound number of 60 reduced down to number 6, the child. Okay. Without spiritual growth, we remain in a child ego state, fussing, fighting, stealing, and harming. But controlling these brain waves bring about a calming effect. If you feel you are getting angry, take a few seconds to relax and breathe. This action deeply will slow the brain waves activity down, allowing you to respond in a more balanced way. So the number 6 is the child. When I say the child that's only understanding the material aspect of life and not the spiritual aspect of life. If you're fighting with another person, then you're not understanding the spiritual truth. You have taken the illusion, you have taken Maya, you have taken the play too seriously. If you kill someone or rob someone, you're not understanding the spiritual laws. You are caught up in the Maya, you are caught up on this dense plane, so you're the child. You don't have the understanding, you don't have the spiritual understanding, and you're lacking the spiritual growth. Okay, so let me show you these brain waves right quick. As you can see, this one right here, the very first one is your beta, and you see how rapid it moves. It moves real fast. Okay, so you want to use this brain waves when you need to be very active, right? For example, say you're a babysitter, man. You're babysitting little children, right? Well, you can't afford to really relax. You got to stay active. So you need to be, moving like this, because that's how children are going to be moving like this, right? Very active and very swift. Okay. Now, this brain wave right here is alpha. So you see that it's still moving pretty rapidly, but not as rapid as beta. So things is calming down a little bit. You can wake up in the morning. You should wake up in the morning, hopefully you're waking up in a calm state. You're not agitated. You didn't have a nightmare. You're feeling relaxed. You're thinking about, what you want to do that particular day. Maybe you want to think about, saying some prayers or visualizing what it is that you may want to do that day. So you're in a calmer state, a more peaceful state. You shouldn't wake up and just jump out the bed, because now you're gonna, be moving from the lower brain waves to the higher brain waves rapidly. You don't really want to jump into beta. You want to ease into beta, ease into your activities. Okay, now here we go with theta. You see, theta is not as active. It's a very slower vibration. Now with theta, you're moving into you kind of daydreaming, you kind of in a hypnotic nod, you're very relaxed, you're very much at peace, your brain waves is slowing down, and you're able to now, get in touch with your intuition. You'll be able to maybe hear that little voice inside of you that's trying to give you direction and purpose in your life. And then the slower vibration is delta. Delta is when you're in deep trance, deep meditation. In delta, now you really have left the physical body in your consciousness. You're not even aware of what's going on in your physical world. You're peeping into, the higher realms of reality, the heavens and the astral planes and the masters and the yogis. They dealing with you, but you don't want to be in those lower vibrations if you have to do something that requires your attention. For an example, this video is getting long, so I'm gonna try to I'm gonna end it right quick. But it's like, say you're a truck driver and you're doing long distance traveling. You do not want to fall into theta, right? And that's what happens a lot of time. People fall into those lower vibrations, those lower brain waves. Like a truck driver, he's driving along, and all of a sudden, the vibration of the wheels turning put him in a hypnotic state. And that vibration is going down the brain waves, right? And before you know, he's nodding off. He may have an accident. So that's why they say turn the radio on. Or if there's someone in the car with you, continue to have that conversation with the person. Or roll the windows down. You do not want to move into theta while you're driving. Now, it's okay to move into those levels if you're maybe, sitting home in your chaise lounge or in your easy board, you're reading a book. It's okay then to drift into those slower brain waves. It's so now you're in a position to not harm yourself, and you'll be able to reap a greater benefit from the lower, slower vibrations. So there are many tutorials on YouTube that talks about the different brain waves. But what you can do is you can find one. I may, post a few that I listen to. And like before you go to sleep at night, if you can slow everything down by listening to, some of these vibrations that vibrates on the theta level, and it'll slow your brain waves down, and then you can intend on what it is that you want to do. Like because your subconscious will become more receptive to what it is. Put it like this, it'll believe you. See, a lot of times people is not manifesting because the subconscious don't believe you, right? Because you say, "Well, I want to be wealthy," and the subconscious says, "Well, I've heard this before," and the subconscious says, "Well, you haven't done nothing. You haven't done nothing in the physical to make that happen. So we don't believe you. So we're not going to bring you your wealth manifestation," right? But if you move into theta and affirm, "I would like to become wealthy. Please, Lord, reveal to me in my sleep tonight what I can do to achieve wealth." Then the subconscious will say, "Oh, okay, we believe him," right? And then they'll like give you some ideas during your sleep. Or, say you're a songwriter, you get, lyrics to a beautiful song. But still, when you come out of theta, or when you come out of delta, you still have to act on it. You still got to go into beta and, write the song out, record the song, get the musicians together, go on tour. It requires work. So those are the 4 different levels. Well, there's other brain waves like gamma ray, but I didn't talk about the gamma ray. But these rays are under your control, under your will, under your I am, and you can learn to use them to advance you, on your spiritual path. So until the next video, I hope everybody is faring well, and I hope that you understand that we're going through a tough time right now. This is true. Man is like getting a whooping because of his incorrect thinking, not understanding his relationship to the one. And of course, man naturally wants to deflect and say, "Well, I'm not responsible for this. They're responsible for that," right? But we all are responsible because we are one. And until we understand this oneness, until we start thinking as one, you should love each other as they were your brother or your sister. But some of us hate our brothers, our biological brothers. Some of us hate our biological sisters, right? But we have to come into a one type of consciousness. We are all our spiritual beings having physical experiences. And we have to stop with the hatred. You have to change that inner vibration. You just have to stop with the murdering and the killing and the slandering and the lying and the gossiping. And until that happens, our world is going to be like this. up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, as opposed to going like this, right? When everybody's moving to the slower vibrations, you're not so quick to be angry at somebody. You're going to be more in a chill mood, right? And you're not going to let little things irritate you or aggravate you or set you off where you end up doing something that you're going to regret. Because people, you know, can't control their emotions, can't control that beta. And it's going like this, and before you know it, you shot somebody, or you jumped on somebody, or you cut somebody off, or you chasing somebody because somebody cut you off on the freeway. Chill. And so practicing meditation, visualization, repeating the Lord's name will calm the spirit, and you become more of the impersonal self as opposed to the personal self. Okay, that's it. Till the next video. Peace.